stay consistent, keep grinding, keep working. You're gonna have those days where you're not gonna want to get out of bed. You're not gonna want to do what you wanted, thinking about doing. You're gonna have those guys talking, those demons in your head telling you not to, but you know what? Fight through it. That's what's gonna take you to the next level. Count to 3, get up and do it. That's it. Make it happen.
Okay, I love that, bro.
This episode was brought to you by The Hungry Pandas of VXP Realty, Mental Makeover, and Santiago Cuevas of Berkshire Hathaway Commonwealth Real Estate.
Well, thank you very much for coming in today. We drove together, obviously, carpool, save money on that gas. But so my first question is, where are you based out of? Who's Santiago Cuevas? Share with us.
Again, my name is Santiago Cuevas. Born and raised in Boston, from Dominican descent. Both my parents are Dominican. Yeah, man, and I'm based out of pretty much the Newton office. Berkshire Hathaway, my brokerage, right. You know. Yeah, man.
Did you happen to go to university?
Yeah, so I went to school, elementary, high school, all of that, city of Boston. Then I went to community college. I went to Roxbury Community College, graduated from there. Took a few classes in BU.
Boston University?
Boston University. Okay. I had started having a family a little bit early in life, you know, so I had to take off a little bit. But, that's where my foundation is, man. That's what kind of made me become a man. And
was there anything from university that you took to bring into your business after graduating?
So basically, you know, I was working a lot in the city. I used to work for T-Mobile. I've been doing sales like my whole entire life. You know, I noticed that I had this type of gift where I'm good at connecting with people, you know.
In college, you realized that?
In college, I realized that as well. I used to take classes. What college really showed me was you have to get to it. Like, you have to get things done. Exactly. But that there more than ever, right, is because you have things that are due, you have due dates, you have to execute, and no matter what you have going on in your life, you have to deliver. Like, you have to come with the essay. You have to make sure you do your portion of the project.
It's one day that 4 years times out.
Exactly.
4 years, depending on what you're doing, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so you basically started your career in business at T-Mobile. So what was it that transferred you from the retail, you know, executive space, and then becoming a realtor?
Since I was good with connecting with people and finding those solutions, that was the thing that kind of, when I was working at T-Mobile, someone was like, hey, you know, you would be really good in real estate. And I'm like, okay. Really? Like, why would you say? I mean, like, you hustle, you know, and it's like an honest hustle. Like, I have that type of, yeah, I was at the time trying to sell you, you know, a plan, a phone, a case, all of that. But it was the way that it was I would find that problem that you would have with your phone and solve it with that solution and connect that. So I was making the sales, but it was honest sales.
I like that point right there. You were touching people's pain points.
Exactly.
You were giving them true customer service.
Exactly.
And that's why your peers started to recognize around you, like, well, this guy, if he's, when I come in to T-Mobile, he's taking care of my phone, my care, my subscription. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe he'll take care of my house, my liens, and my mortgage guy, right. And all that stuff.
Right. Yeah. And it's funny because business it's a general term. Business is business. Mm-hmm. 1 + 1 = 2, right? So it's like, it's the same thing. You just have to understand the language. Mm-hmm. Once you understand the language, then and you break down that barrier, then it's easier to take it to that next level.
Yeah. So that's where you found the transparency for the transfer. And so
exactly.
Where did you end up? What was your first brokerage? How long were you there? And how was that experience?
I got my license back in March 2020.
Okay,
so the height of the pandemic.
The second pretty much everything shut down.
Right, and like extreme. So, you know, starting in, you're like, crap, it's tough because not only am I starting off as an agent, when you start off, you're kind of your own business. You're basically your own business. Wow. So you depend on the grind that you put in, but how can you put in the grind if you don't understand where to start, you know? So that's
the trip for every new agent.
That's a trip for mostly everything, I think, you know, but that's where I found myself, where I went to a good brokerage. Like, I was with EXP.
Okay.
Shout out to them. My mentor, Patrick Scanlon, great guy, and his wife, Alana Scanlon. They guided me, they helped me and stuff, but, you know, it was mostly in the individual. Like, I was clawing, scratching my way in the business, so I wasn't producing as much as I would like. I was planting my seeds, You know, I was reaching out to my people, letting people know that I was the agent, I was that guy, but I lacked the confidence because I didn't have the education. So
Right.
time progresses. You know, there's so many times when you're having that tough time, that difficult time in your life where you feel like, damn, I gotta kind of like back up, I gotta stop, but you feel uncomfortable, right? But it's like when you're in that uncomfortable space, if you identify that, that's your most, like, the biggest opportunity for growth. Right. Is when you're in that space. So that's how I kind of came up, you know.
Right, and so you were with EXP, you had a mentor you were under. How long were you with them before transferring, and then where did you end up?
I was with them for about a year. I was with them for about a year, almost a year and a half. And like I said, I wasn't producing, so I wasn't able to keep up with, like, the fees and stuff, you know. So I had a family that I have to take care of. So it was like, it was a critical decision. I mean, I was already on my own pretty much, so I was getting those emails, like I was mentioning to you in our conversation recently, how, you know, yeah, you get those generic emails from people.
But it keeps you top of mind.
But exactly. It's kind of like when you're walking in the street and you see a bus with, you know, like an iPhone logo or a Samsung commercial. Like, that billboard subconsciously is sending you a message. Yeah. But it works, right? Because now when you're shopping for a phone, and you look at the Samsung section and you see that Samsung sign that you're so familiar that in the back of your mind you've seen it as your day progresses. What happened is I was getting messages from Media Realty, a small brokerage that was kind of like online as well, but it was more local. So all the other brokers were local and they were closer. They had a really good like benefit. So I was like, you know, I'll go with them. I'll keep working little by little, you know, working my 9 to 5 and also working with, you know, my leads and trying to build my business. And
How long did that last?
It felt longer, but like for the rest of the year. So almost like 1 year after that. So I was there. That's when I met you.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, I know. And that's the best part.
Yeah, for sure.
Podcast right here, meeting with you today, because to hear that whole story, that, you know, the brokerages didn't go too well. I remember we had met at an open house. I think.
You listed a condo in Salem.
Yeah.
And the open house was scheduled for the weekend, and I think you had it under contract.
Yeah, in the midweek.
But I reached out to you though, and you're like, yeah, I mean, I have it under contract. I don't know what. I guess it didn't. You know how real estate is. It's a roller coaster. That kind of probably fell through, and then we started working together, and we vibed out. Like we were cool. We were kind of on the same page. So I was like, this guy's cool. We kept in touch, you know. So
yeah, because I feel like one of your biggest pain points when we first had met was that, like you were just explaining from your previous story, working that 9 to 5 and building your real estate on the side is doable, but
it's gruesome.
It's gruesome. It takes a special type of mind, a special type of body, a special type of faith that you put into the business, and so you can only be so sustainable with it.
Right.
And so I feel like that's where you kind of came to me, like, well, if there's another young entrepreneur getting their business up and started, I'm obviously crossing paths with them maybe for a reason.
Right.
You know, like, thank you every day, man, for coming on to Berkshire Hathaway, joining Berkshire Hathaway.
For sure.
Since then, I know you've had 2 to 3 listings.
Yeah.
One of them's under contract. All of them are under contract.
Yeah, thank God.
Set to close this summer. We talk all the time, obviously, but like that conversation we had where it's like you're like, wow, if I had another 3 deals on my Rolodex right now, I don't even know if I could be able to handle it.
Right.
And that's a good thing, because what you're doing is you finally got to the point after those stories that you just shared,
right,
where you're being consistent, finding yourself falling into income producing activities that are putting things under contract. And since you have it under contract, you can build that education as you go full time.
Right.
Because before, when you were 9 to 5, you could only do so much.
I was limited.
You know, what if you did that 9 to 5 and then the baby needs you all night?
Right.
You have to choose where you're going to balance out and devote your full-time work to.
And I agree. And it also comes down to the having faith in yourself. You know what I mean? Like, things are tough, and everything.
Hard, right?
Choose your heart. Everything is hard. Like,
right.
you're gonna have to figure it out. Like, you're gonna have to. Yeah, I could have quit sooner. I'm not gonna lie, but I needed to go what I went through.
Well, even just recently, in the past month and a half, share your story of what you've been up to. What have you been doing for work? Where are you now? What are you transferring to, and what are your goals that are going to happen? right?
Right. So it's all a learning process, you know what I mean? And it's a roller coaster, man. It's just learning how to roll with those punches and finding that solution to that problem. So
And where'd you source your first listings from?
they were all in my face, bro.
Right?
Yeah, they were
all hidden right
They
there.
were all in my face,
They were
and it was
hidden right
just
there.
it was just that lack of confidence. And it's also a big piece is who you surround yourself with. You know what I'm saying? Like you can be a great person and always try to elevate those around you, but you have to make sure that those around you are thinking
Right.
or at least in the same direction.
For example, you say at least somewhere around 8 or 9 a.m. we're checking in.
Right,
Whether
right.
it's 5, 10, 15, or 50 minutes.
Right.
It's, it's all game plan, masterminding of our strategy.
Right.
How's the day? What's our top 3 important things for the day? Where's our next deal coming from? How's your family doing?
Right.
How's your car doing? You
Right.
got your wheels on? Things like that.
That's
Keeping each
the
other up,
thing.
energy.
And that's the thing. It's like that's what keeps the fire under you. It's like because you want something, this person has a similar goal. So you just need that's like fuel to the fire.
Right.
So you might wake up one day and like completely be out of it. I mean, it happens to the best of us, right? So but now here comes a phone call where I give you a call. What are you up to? Oh, I'm here at a showing. So then we start talking about that process.
Right.
And your pain
And then
points.
maybe next thing you know, you're sending me an offer to
And then
review.
exactly, or you remind me about something that I had to do. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
you give me like just hearing your story is like, oh yeah, I have to call.
And then in the next minute, we're talking about the next 3 to 5 years.
Exactly,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
the best way to go about it.
Hey, it's Dick Lee here with eXp Realty. Just want to say thank you for watching the podcast of Make Excuses or Make It Happen. If you're a real estate agent or if you're a loan officer, please reach out to me. I want to make sure that you are financially aligned with your business. What does financially aligned mean? Well, that makes that your business is working for you. We want to make sure that you're maximizing your profitability, maximizing your revenue, and also working smarter, not harder. See, I've been doing this for over 27 years. I want to make sure that you're doing the same as well too. So hit me up, 508-277-9939, or follow me on Instagram at @TheRealDickLee. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Hey all, this is Chris with Mental Makeover. Wanted to come on here and talk a little bit more about our company, our mission, and our values. So Mental Makeover, it's a 501c3 nonprofit organization that started in August of 2018 after the deaths of Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain. And since then, my team and I, we have been working to develop curriculum, education, and awareness for the youth in our community, especially in Salem. We've lost too many people to mental health struggles, and we wanted to do something about that. We wanted to be a little bit more proactive than reactive, and that's what Mental Makeover is striving to do. We're happy to sponsor the Make Excuses or Make It Happen podcast, as Xavier is a good friend of ours. He's from Salem, and he's making a difference in our community. And with that, thanks for having us.
You had mentioned your family, and
Right.
so that's a huge part of your life. It's
Absolutely.
something that came in and you embraced fully.
Absolutely.
And so on that point, what is something you could share from your upbringing that stuck with you today and made you, the best man that you are?
I was a young father. I feel like. I mean, there's definitely younger, but I was 21 when I had my first son. It made me realize, like, okay, now I have someone who's gonna be dependent on me. So I have to make sure that dependency has a strong foundation. Some people can see it like having being a young parent as something that can like tax you in life. And don't get me wrong, like you can, but at the end of the day, that's what made me that's what transformed me.
That was your pivotal moment where you had no choice but to make no excuses. You did not make any excuses. Your only choice was to make it happen.
Face the music. That's it. Make it happen. Make it happen. It's
Weather the
like
storm.
right. There's only one thing that you can't come back from, and that's death.
That was a good one, Santiago. Now,
Gems.
how I wanted to wrap this up is with a couple of things. You touched upon how your first listings, your first units of production were right in front of your face. It wasn't you joining Berkshire Hathaway.
No.
It wasn't you teaming up with myself It wasn't you checking in with anybody else. It was you.
They help.
You checking in with yourself.
Exactly.
Looking the man in the mirror and saying, how is this going to get done? Because I'm able, right?
Yep. That is so true.
And you said, I have a phone with 600 contacts. Let me call and say hello. How have they been? I'm in real estate. In fact, you didn't even have to say I'm in real estate. The second you say to someone that you haven't checked in for a while that gives one crap about you, when you say, how are you doing? What have you been up to? They're going to say, I'm doing this. What are you doing? What have you been up to?
Right.
And they gave you the opportunity to tell them right there and then, I'm a local realtor doing business and it's been great. How can I help you? The market's crazy. You know, the market's very opportunistic.
Right.
I've been helping people, really get stuff done in this market where there's been a lot of struggles. Let me tell you in a quick consultation, sitting down, And that's where you moved forward and actually turned that into business.
The first thing was addressing the problem, like finding out why I wasn't in the space that I wanted to be. And when you're in a situation where you look at yourself and you're like not in the position that you want to be, you most likely have to address yourself and look and see where you can fix those pieces of the puzzle to elevate your game, to take you to where you need to get to. It's mostly all internal. It's mostly, it starts with you taking the initiative and noticing. I knew that I needed to change my surroundings. So I stuck out like a sore thumb. I didn't care. Like I found people that I felt were on the same page as me in terms of where I wanted to get. Like I said, one of the things, we met, we exchanged contacts, but we went our separate way after that, for a little bit, and then I'm scrolling through social media.
Yeah, there it is.
And then I see that you have a listing coming on, cool, a regular listing. But what caught my attention was that you had that push and Pete. But yeah. And as a background, and I'm like, it really resonated with me. I'm like, yo, that's cool because
we don't see that.
We don't see that, and
we
it's
see
like
the jazz.
Yeah, right.
We hear our trumpets.
Exactly, but it's like.
But,
right. I saw it. I'm like, we're city kids. We grew up in a diverse community. We experience a lot of things, and we are our own selves. Mm-hmm. I listen to hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I want to own houses too. And I felt that you and I kind of had that same energy, that same dynamic. Yeah. So that's why when we connected from that first phone call after we connected, it was it. Like we hit it out the park. We started planning. We started talking. We started, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. How can we use each other to help elevate our business as well together? So.
And that's why we're here on this podcast
to break boundaries, barriers.
Like, hey, I hope everyone does appreciate this content, and I hope that they join our network. And so that's what we have so much more to share about it. But I guess let's wrap this up. So, what is your number one advice that you would leave with people today? They could take something tangible that they could take and work with today to make themselves better in whatever they're doing.
Stay consistent. Keep grinding. Keep working. You're going to have those days where you're not going to want to get out of bed. You're not going to want to do what you wanted thinking about doing. You're going to have those guys talking, those demons in your head telling you not to, but you know what? Fight through it. That's what's going to take you to the next level. Count to 3, get up and do it. That's it. Make it happen.
Okay. I love that, bro. And so where can we find you? On social media, phone number, how can we help promote your business? And if anyone watching is looking to hear some real estate advice, communicate in Spanish as well. Yeah. Again, let's not leave that out.
Correct.
Santiago is fluent in Spanish, bilingual. And so, where can we find you, man?
Santiago Cuevas 617. That's simple.
That's it.
That's my Instagram handle. That's my handle everywhere else. Just Santiago Cuevas 617. Follow me for more real estate tips. Any way I can help, let me know.
All right. Great. Well, thank you, man. It was a pleasure having you, bro.
Thanks, brother.
Of course.
You already know.